So, this card game, very similar to Uno rules. What you want to do is just get rid of all of the cards in your hand and be the first person to do so. The 101 rules may change later because, like I said, play through the entire deck and that was not intended. But basically, we're going to draw 10 cards, and the first card that's played, so far I've been going with whoever has Amoeba, because I thought that Amoeba was the only one that started with A, and then I drew Alligator, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. But it's kind of like alphabetical, as the lowest number in the alphabet. But instead, I'm going to have you go first, just for this. But you draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So you're going to look at all your cards and you're going to find one that seems like sort of the lowest level on the scale of just things in the world. And what that card represents is that thing that's there. So you imagine that it exists in physical space. And then I play a card that interacts with it in some way or uses it, or in most cases, because this gets very violent, somehow destroys it. It unintentionally got very violent because there's a fork in one of them, and then somebody played fork on baby, and it was like, oh, I know what you're doing.
Nice. So I need to pick one that's the
right,
lowest.
Right. Well, usually you don't want to try to play your really big idea one right away, because what if you need that for something else?
Right. Okay, so I can go ahead and lay one down?
Yes. Splash of water. Right, so now I imagine that there's a splash of water there, and one of my cards has to somehow be introduced into it to use splash of water. And splash of water doesn't have to be in motion, like being splashed, but that is like an amount type of thing. Okay. So I have a lot of things that I cannot use on it. But one thing that I would like to use on it right now is salt.
Okay.
Not technically violent, but it does interact with it. Now, at this point, you can see salt played on splash of water and think, I don't know, wait a minute, I don't know how you're going to play salt on splash of water. I don't imagine you do that on this, but if you want to challenge it, you say, I don't think so, you know, like I challenge you or something. And if I can't defend it, I draw a card.
Okay. Okay. And then if not, then we keep playing on that word?
Right, so if you challenge me, that you still got to play on it.
Okay.
But if I draw a card, but that's another thing. You see salt is here. Mm-hmm. If you can't play on salt, then you draw a card. If you don't think that you have anything, or you just don't want to play something that you have on salt.
Okay.
But you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to regress. You don't want to play something that salt would be played on. But here is salt.
Does water, the splash of water, is that just gone?
It's gone.
Okay.
You only have salt. And it's up to your imagination how much salt.
Okay.
It could be one little, you know.
Well, I think I'm going to draw one.
Bryce, you want your kids?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I have to play on salt.
Oh, okay. Well then, there you go.
So, what I end up doing is, unfortunately, I don't really have a whole lot of things that I could play. Salt's a tricky one. There are things, but I'm going to play a card which is like a safe card in this case, and it might take some explaining, but it's some donkus. Now this is kind of like, it's a person that's in a way oblivious, but their obliviousness kind of makes them a jerk, but they're easily tricked because they're oblivious. So they're just some donkeys.
Just because for some reason this is the first thing that came to mind afterward, I don't know. I'm
That-
gonna play on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not going to challenge it.
Cool.
So now there is a toilet, and what I want to do is, man, I played that one before. I don't want to play that one. The toilet is going to become a home for an amoeba.
Nice. Perfect. Okay. I guess I'm not gonna challenge that either. Seems like it makes sense.
You really don't want to try to explain it, though. You want to kind of like keep them guessing too, because you could be giving your opponent ammunition for the next round.
Okay.
Just don't, like, if they challenge you, do, but otherwise. Try to keep it to yourself, because maybe you want to play a card that you don't really believe in, but you just kind of want to get away with it to get rid of the card. So if you are in the habit of explaining it, then you've given your tell when you don't explain it.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, we'll go with the worm.
Okay. Goldfish.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with the shark.
Okay.
It's bigger,
I guess.
right? I mean,
yeah.
going from goldfish to shark. Is that
I'm not gonna challenge it because maybe I should.
maybe I'm thinking of this in the wrong way.
No, not technically. See, the only problem that I would have is like freshwater, saltwater. They're like being introduced to each other. But then again, it's just a shark. It doesn't say shark in saltwater, so that's up
Right.
to your imagination. Unfortunately,
So
now you have to play on shark because I can't.
So salt still it's playing on. So you still
Salt doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
So worm doesn't exist when I play goldfish. There's only goldfish here now. So now that you played shark, there's only shark here, and now you must play on shark because I drew.
Okay.
Which again is like that Uno rules. You can't play, you draw a card.
Okay.
Which is where it gets a little bit easier with more than 2 people.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to draw. Sorry.
So in this case, this is, I think, the problem that caused us to play the whole deck was there was there was no way to like get past this card until somebody played, so there was a lot of drawing. So instead, what I'm gonna do is it is now log.
Okay. Okay.
No, wait. So that puts it. You drew, and because you couldn't play, so now I'll
So
play
you're gonna
on
play
log.
on log.
Right.
Okay.
Oh boy. I think that works. Rushing River. And if the card seems very unusual for the game, it's because it's like a safe card, like some Donkus is. So if you have an unusual card, it's very likely that it can be played on most things. But it also means that a lot of things can be played on it as well.
We're gonna go with the frog
Okay.
in the river.
I have not
bet.
been. I don't have a good track record of winning in this game, which I think is a good sign. Hard to tell.
I'm gonna say frog is in a cavernous hole.
Aha! Now this is where I can challenge this.
Okay.
Because I would play frog on cavernous hole, but not cavernous hole on frog. Because now you are creating a cavernous hole in a frog, in a sense. But the frog is too small for such a thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
So how do you, what would be your explanation at this point for cavernous hole played on frog?
Well, I didn't think of it in that sense. I was thinking frog potentially could live in a cavernous hole.
Ah, see, that would be the other way around, though. So I would say draw a card.
Okay, I guess I will draw a card.
Cavernous hole. Well, I just seem to have like the worst luck of drawing cards. So no, it's play on cavernous hole or not.
Okay, now let me think.
This is the cavernous hole you put us in.
Yeah, I'm good at that. I'm just not. Let's say space rock. Are you challenging that,
No.
or are you agreeing?
No, I'm
Okay.
not going to challenge it.
Okay.
I've seen space rock played on a lot of things, but that also lets me play gravity.
Hey. Well,
Which is surprisingly a hard card to play.
yeah. What am I gonna play on gravity? Honestly, it's a little more difficult than I thought. I'm just overthinking it. There's a lot of it. Let's try
Are you playing?
heat.
Nice.
Making it maybe.
Huh.
Alright, girls, let's
Don't
go.
ask.
Girls, get out of the
Okay, so now there is heat. Balloon. So that's another thing. Do you want to challenge and then
No, I mean that's
Like,
pretty
get
good.
stuck in certain ways? And
Oh yeah. We say there's a burst of wind.
uh, no, I gotta draw.
Okay. I don't honestly don't know what I could play on it. Hate
You're
to say
closer
my-
to winning than I am.
Well,
Okay, so now it is Blizzard. Oh boy. And towel.
darn it, I had a good one. Let's say
She's eating a little too many of the cards right now. See, this is my problem.
Mm-hmm. You either need more cards or we need to figure out.
There's 80 cards in here. I'm not getting more.
Okay.
I struggled to really find the ones that worked with the game and the ones that just wouldn't. I had a lot more in here that were conceptual things. Like even PhD was one of them. And the color blue. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Santa Claus was one of them.
Where's our box?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Bit of string.
Okay.
I've done that exact play.
Oh, really? In a small hole.
Hmm.
Needle and thread?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Don't
Makes
say
sense
you
to
don't
me.
know.
Makes sense to me.
Oh, with the ounce of dirt. Mm.
I know.
Rug.
I just. Sandwich on the rug.
I mean, technically, sure.
I think I'm forgetting the rules.
No, I mean, that's. I could, like I said, they could get in a way violent, and some, like, it doesn't have to end in like harm, but maybe stains.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you have a rug and you're like, I can get rid of my rug. But this is a problem. Cards Against Humanity, that's what it was. I couldn't play, and then the next card,
It's always.
like, yeah, it's like, oh, that would have been a great one.
Yep, because I have one right here that was good, like 5 deep. Oh, am I playing on this?
Yes.
Oh. All
It
right.
passed to you to play on your own card.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Broom.
What did you play on?
Bucket.
I'm not going to challenge that.
I feel like I need to test this with some devious people too.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try to
Just
do
gonna-
just like play something and see what happens.
I need to, like, play it a couple times. I think I'll start getting the hang of it.
No, it's kind of a safe pillow.
Snowball?
Oh,
Wait, did I
wait.
do it?
Hold on.
Okay. What
Yeah,
have I done?
I got 2 cards. There's no way I would have been able to beat you after that anyway. So
Okay, I need to, like. Sorry, do you want to.
oh,